Okay, welcome guys. Live stream should be starting up now. We have the final day of the NFL preseason to go over. Again, it was another great day for us last night. Myself lost out on about another $3,000 and made a last second pivot, but again, that's just how it always goes for me. Never ever make the correct pivots. But yeah, this live stream is just gonna be general Q&A, so make sure to leave any questions in the chat. Happy to get to them. We have, 2 games starting in about 40 minutes or so. Still waiting on some news on actives, inactives. Let me know if you guys see anything for 49ers could be thin at running back, right? The only 2 running backs healthy last game. We'll see about that. We'll see who's available for Miami. We know they're resting a lot of their main guys. Cincinnati Stars are expected to play, but not for long. So there's still some news we're waiting for, obviously, for this early game that definitely will help us out. But yeah, guys, if you're just coming in, if you could, leave a like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Closing on that 10,000 subscriber mark. So make sure to hit that big subscribe button. And let's do it. All right. So what do we got here? What's going on, Patrick? Hope to get a big win today. Who's active for San Francisco? I haven't seen anything yet. So what I always do for researching, just Twitter search, right? Twitter search. If you're curious about a player playing, Twitter search their name. Go to recent, see what we got for news. Let's see. Okay, looks like we do have some news here. So I saw Mostert expected to play. So let's see. Hurd is dressed, set to play. Okay. Running back Raheem Mostert is set to play, and he's been named the captain. All right. So that actually is pretty big news. So there's some news for the 49ers. Mostert in, Hurd in. Okay, so I think that's where we're at right now. Again, let me know if you guys see anything else. Let's see. Never played preseason DFS. Might try it out. Yeah, there's an edge, right? There is an edge. There is some variance, though. Like, there's a chance one of your players could get scratched. It could happen to me yesterday, right? I had, what's his name? Jesse James. And we didn't get news after lock that he wasn't going to play. So, like, that stuff can happen. It's possible. Yeah, there is, again, edge. If you can, but again, there is some variance, too. You did great last night. Nice. Josh Kelley killed me, though. Could have had a takedown. Yeah, I was close. I did take down a couple, but could have took down the big one, too, if I didn't make that pivot. Stevenson and Taylor, okay, yeah. So I think I'm fine using them both together. Let's go over the Patriots really quick. Where are the Patriots? Yeah, so Damon Harris, James White. Damon Harris is their lead back on the ground. James White going to be a third down back. Now we have no more Sonny Michel, so I expect Stevenson to kind of step into that role, but I would still think the rookie would get a decent amount of work in this game. Then you have J.J. Taylor, and then you have special teamer Brandon Bolden. That's really it for the running backs. So I'm actually okay using both Stevenson and Taylor together if you want to. Yeah, I think that's fine. Evans and Ragas, I think it's pretty close. I like them both. I expect both to get a good amount of work. Both are going to be involved with the passing game. Like for the Raiders, they've really only been using 2 running backs so far in the preseason, so that's a pretty big boost. And Chris Evans, starters might get a series or so, but expect him to get a lot of work kind of in that second half. Good PPR back. So I like them both. Yeah, one over. Let's see. What? I'm guessing the over went up for Peterman. We got him at like 8 or 7, whatever it was. Let's see. Oh, he's still at 8.7. So it went up a little bit. Like I would still probably lean the over on that because he's going to play the entire game. Like you would think a quarterback gets more than 8 fancy points in a game, but let's see what else we got on here. Yeah, so like the projection on J.J. Taylor is really high, 8. That feel like I don't want to touch that, even though I like J.J. Taylor. 8 is just a lot of points. Yeah, I think I still like that one on Peterman. And it's just because he's going to play the entire game. Robinson and Play Cooper winning 5K. Me and Torres winning 5K. Dang. DK playing preseason DFS for the first time. Any smash plays? Not really any smash plays. There's a lot of keeping an eye on news. Again, like for quarterback, Peterman's the guy that probably looks the safest. He's going to play the entire game. So as long as you're up to date on news, that's when you want to get some lineups in there. If you're behind and don't really know a lot that's going on, then maybe set it out. Niners and most are playing. Backfield is muddled. Yeah, so like we'll see who else is available here for the 49ers. We know Mostert going to play. Is Sermon going to be available? Is Mitchell going to be available? Right. So it could be a pretty crowded backfield, and that's why again we'll hopefully get that news. Let's see. Let's just do this. And this is what I recommend you guys doing. This is how I do it. Just Twitter search names. Let's see. Any news on Trey Sermon? Nothing yet. But yeah, that's what you do for preseason. Literally Twitter search names. Stevenson, let's see. Thoughts on this: Peterman, Felton, Taylor, Doss, Turner, Davis, Franks, Gallman. Yeah, so the only thing I'll say about Gallman is 49ers might have a little more crowded backfield today. We already know Mostert's going to play. A couple other guys could be viable. So that's the only thing you got to worry about there, Patrick. Stevenson too important for big run, in my opinion. So you think J.J. Taylor's just going to play the entire game because they really don't have any other backs. I mean, Brandon Bolden is technically a running back, but he's just like a special teamer. So, like, yeah, if you're going to ask me who I'm going to prefer between Taylor and Stevenson, it would be Taylor because he's a little bit farther down the depth chart. There's no best Raider wide receiver, but there's a few guys. Raiders are going to be thin, most likely. They might only have 3 or 4 healthy receivers. So, go to those guys in the bottom of the depth chart. And then, yeah, Cleveland running backs, there's 3 guys really looking to: Dearness, Johnson, Felton, and Kelly. I expect those 3 to play most of the game. And the positive with the Cleveland Browns news is those guys are very involved in the passing game. Franks or Ingram, so I think it's pretty close. Franks should play a little bit more, I would think. But Ingram's obviously the superior talent. He should play at least a half. I don't really have a strong take there. Jones or Peterman. Yeah, so like it's just a playing time thing. Obviously, Daniel Jones is the better quarterback, but Peterman's going to play the entire game. So like optimal build-wise, safer build, it's Peterman, but there's a chance Daniel Jones could outscore him in about a half. Let's see, Ray guys or Gallman. Right now, it's probably Ray guys just because the 49ers, we're still waiting on some news from other backs. They could have 4 or 5 healthy guys. Yeah, that sucks. Dobbins out for the season. Favorite defense. So basically what I always say with defense is if I'm playing a defense, it's going to be a defense against a lot of backups. So that was my reasoning for playing the Seahawks defense last night. Now, obviously I got lucky, right? They got 23 points. Like, definitely got lucky there, but that's where I want to go. So, like, who are playing the backups? Well, Miami's playing like all backups. So I think you make the argument for Cincinnati's defense. The Raiders, they're playing all backups. I'm fine going to the 49ers. Starters should play in this game for a little bit in both teams. Obviously, we know the Giants more, so probably not going to touch either defense in that game. And then Cleveland, they're sitting all their starters. And Atlanta, most likely sitting all their starters. So those are the defenses I would consider. There's no, like, smash defense. I just want to target the defense against mostly backups. Like, I don't want to play the Patriots defense against the Giants. Giants starters are going to play at least a half. Would rather just target a defense against a lot of backups. Okay, yeah, we talked about tight ends. If you had to choose 49ers quarterback to play the most, it would be Trey Lance. Yeah, if I'm going to play 49ers quarterback, it'd be Lance. He's got a little bit of rushing upside too. Felton and Kelly, okay. So I think it's only going to be 3 Cleveland running backs that play. I would guess, right? I don't think Chubb and Hunt play. So I think it's going to be Johnson, Felton, and Kelly. Yeah, you can play 2 together. Yeah, just keep an eye on. So just keep an eye on 49ers, right? Do we know Trey Sermon's in? What about Eli Mitchell? Right, he returned to practice. Is he gonna play? This is all news that is pretty significant, right? Because the 49ers only had 2 healthy running backs last game. So this is what you guys should do for preseason. Of course, Eli Mitchell is a, I guess, popular name. So we go 49ers, Eli Mitchell. Yeah. So I'm not seeing anything yet. Again, if you guys see stuff, let me know. We'll be talking about this a lot in the Patreon after this. Most of the 49ers starting secondary will sit out. Okay. Jalen Hurd, Raheem Mostert, George Kittle, Eli Mitchell, and a number of 49ers will make the preseason debut. Okay, so, yeah, 49ers looking to have a pretty loaded backfield, I would say. That's at least 4 running backs playing now, right? We have Mostert, Mitchell, and obviously Hasty and Gallman. So let's see. Do we have any more news here? No, but like that's how you research, right? This is how you do it. I'm showing you guys how to research for preseason. That's how you do it. Let's see. Stoner, yeah. Stoners too. Yeah, the Raiders going to be thin. Raiders going to be thin at wide receiver. So those guys at the bottom of the depth chart, I think, look pretty good. Devon Davis, depending on who plays for Cleveland, right? That Cleveland game's a later game. We don't know who exactly is going to be available, but they were also thin at wide receiver last game. So possibility, right? Just kind of depends who's going to play here for Cleveland. Another team that, yeah, I think you could leave some room for maybe a receiver. Best Dolphins stack? Okay, so who is playing for the Dolphins? I don't know who's available right now. So, again, one of these. Dolphins preseason. Latest. I know the starters are not really going to play, but who exactly is available here? Okay, so I'm not seeing anything yet for Dolphins. Again, we got about 30 minutes left, so just do that. Just look at right now. I don't know who's playing for the Dolphins. I'm probably going to stay away. Peterman or Brissett. Yeah, so it's just playing time thing. Brissett's going to play a half. Peterman's going to play a full game. We just went over defenses. Again, want to target defenses. I want to against backups. Niners D is fine. Hasty in play. Well, there's now 4. We know for sure 4 49ers running backs are playing. Mostert, Mitchell, and then Hasty and Gallman. So he doesn't look as good, right? The reason we really liked him last showdown was there's only 2 San Francisco running backs. That's fine. Yeah. I played 3 Chargers against my Seahawks defense last night. Worked. So totally fine. I don't think there's one that I prefer more than the other for the Cleveland backfield. And the reason is all 3 are going to be very involved in the passing game, right? If you watch that game last game, they like running a lot of running back screens. Dearness Johnson probably starts. Felton's the guy that actually will work a little bit in the slot at times, and he's also going to line up a running back, so he's very involved in the passing game. And then even John Kelly's going to be involved too. He'll be the last back in. So, like, I don't think there's one I prefer more than the other, but I think all 3 are pretty solid plays. Yeah. Regas or Stevenson, probably the smallest of lean to Regas. Man, the Raiders really only worked 2 running backs so far in the preseason. That's a pretty big boost, right? 4 Raiders. I think you could do it. I think the Raiders are going to be a team that's going to be pretty thin, right? So I think that's fine. Now, again, let's do. Whoops. Raiders in preseason. What do we got here? Yeah, bodes well for Nathan Peterman. I don't know, but just keep doing that, right? If you're playing, just keep doing stuff like this, searching, see any type of news you get. All right, guys, I'll be live for another 10 minutes or so, answer any questions. So leave them in the chat. Officially out on the 49ers backfield now. Yeah, so it's like they're not completely out of play. Obviously, one of them can get in the end zone, but the playing time's not going to be as high for guys like Hasty and Gallman. You think Hurds? I mean, everyone's really fighting for a roster spot. So can you make that argument? Sure. Yeah, we go over all that on Patreon, like my favorite plays, top plays. Let's see. Regas, Evans, or Dearness Johnson. I guess Regas, but I think all 3 are pretty solid plays. Wilkerson, or Slayton. Probably an edge to Slayton right now. We know the Giants starter's going to play at least a half. So you like Booker. My only issue with the Giants running backs is they still have, 4 guys? Or if you take a look at the depth chart, always take a look at depth charts, see how loaded they are. So Saquon's not going to play. They have Booker, Clement, Brightwell, Sandro. Booker and Clement probably work mostly with the starters. So, yeah, I think Booker is playable. Again, he'll be playing with starters, so that's fine. Under 6.3 fancy points. Yeah, I would probably lean that way now, right? Because the playing time's going to go down. Yeah, Daniel Jones is definitely in play. He's going to play at least a half. Guys, make sure if you're coming in, if you could, leave a like button if you enjoy. We're only at 18 likes. Let's try to get to 40 or so before we get out of here. 100 concurrent viewers. Appreciate you guys. Felton or Stevenson. Yeah, kind of splitting hairs there. Depends what the rest of your lineup looks like. Like, do you already have a Patriots back end? Do you already have a Browns back end? If you already have the Patriots back, if you already have like J.J. Taylor, for example, then maybe go Felton. If you already have Cleveland back, then you go Stevenson. It kind of just depends. Appreciate that. Thank you. Franks or Ingram? I think it's basically a toss-up, right? I think Franks probably plays a little bit more, but Ingram's the superior talent, so that one's close too. I like both. I think they're two of the better tight end plays. Zay Jones, Snead, John Brown, viable. Be careful with those main Raiders wide receivers. I don't think they play a ton, okay? So, Ruggs, Edwards, Renfro, John Brown, probably not going to play. Zay Jones, Willie Snead have played in the preseason, but they've only played a couple snaps. So, be careful with those guys. That's all I'll say. Emmons and Regas together, I think that's doable because the Raiders really have only been working those two guys, right? If you go to the Raiders, take a look at running back, take a look at the depth chart, right? So Jacobs, Kenny and Drake, and Jalen Richard's banged up. Kenny and Drake and Josh Jacobs are not going to play. That leaves B.J. Emmons and Trey Regas. That's 2 running backs in the backfield, right? A lot of other teams have 4, 5 healthy running backs in the preseason slate. So it comes down to playing time here, right? I'm perfectly fine playing them both together. They'll be out there the entire game, right? They only have 2 running backs. What's going on, Snell? How's it going, man? Just saw on Twitter Sermon is also in uniform for the 49ers. Yeah, so let's just do that. Thank you for letting me know. Here, I'll go over here. Yep. Yeah, so right? Now it's 5. Now it's 5 49ers running backs who know we're going to play. So there's an edge, right? People are probably going to go to Hasty and Gallman. If you want my take on it, I think it's a mistake now. Now there's 5 running backs playing. Now, knowing my luck, Hasty will still break a long one in the fourth quarter, and then I'll be very tilted about it on Twitter. But, yeah, right now I think it's probably a mistake to go the 49ers running backs, knowing what we know. Stoner, yeah, Raiders are thin. Peterman playing the whole game. That's what it looks like. Everything I've seen, he's going to play the entire game. 5 quarters. Who are the 4 that are playing for the Raiders? So I think it's the guys at the bottom of the depth chart, right? Turner, Stoner, Doss, and I believe Zay Jones is active too, but I don't know if he gets a ton of work. What team only has 2 running backs? Sorry, I missed it. Yeah, so the Raiders, right? Richard's banged up. We're not going to see Drake or Jacobs. That leaves B.J. Emmons and Trey Regas. All right, guys, I'll be live for another minute or 2. Then I have to go make some updates for Patreon, go stream for Patreon. So appreciate you guys coming and checking out the live stream. If you sorry, voice crack there. If you came out and checked this live stream out, you already have a little bit of an edge, right? We know the 49ers news. Now, again, I'm going to be posting a ton more updates on Patreon, all the good stuff. If you guys want to check that out, link down below. Yeah, so I think Cleveland could be a little bit thin at wide receiver too. We don't know that for sure. It's a little bit of a later game, but last game, they only had 4 healthy wide receivers, so the Browns could be a little bit thin too. Yeah, Dave Van Davis or Wilkerson. Depends on the Browns news. I think Dave Van Davis is solid. Now, I'll end on this, right? Because I think he's going to be low owned. He has the out tag, don't be worried about that, right? I think Davion Davis makes for a good tournament play just because he has his out tag. He's actually been good so far in the preseason. He's suspended for the first 2 regular season games. So he's not out in the preseason, and people casual are just going to avoid it. And it's been happening all preseason. Whenever someone has that out tag, they're going to go way lower owned. So I'll end on that. I think Davion Davis is a solid GPP play because no one's going to play him with that out tag. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Appreciate you coming and check out the live stream. Enjoy the last preseason slate of the year, and hoping you guys come back here for the regular season. I'll be covering every single slate. So good luck, guys, and I will see you all in the next live stream.